All right, I'll wait a second for everyone to get in. I should have audio now. My microphone got deleted off of my streaming for whatever reason. But good news is this will still be like close to 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. But the other one had a lot of rambling anyway, so I'll cut right to the points on this one and make it good for you guys. So I'll wait just a minute or two, see if anybody needs to join in, and then I'll get rolling on this. So if you are listening to the replay on this, you can fast forward a minute here. Again, sorry about that, guys. That's unfortunate. That was a lot of wasted time talking. I have another meeting here. I was planning on for that being about 45 minutes. So I have another meeting here in about a half hour. So I'll get this as straight to the point as I can. Feel free to ask questions. If you guys are in Telegram support, you can always ask questions there. I can always do another quick video later this week, and I'm going to still work on a new tutorial video. I just don't have my whole computer set up yet right now. So once I get all that, it's going to be easier for me to get all this streaming done for you guys in better quality. Hope you guys can hear me now. Perfect. Thanks, Tim. Sorry about that. Again, I'll get you guys this video. I'll cut straight to the point on this. Like I said, the first one had a lot of rambling. So we'll get this one rocking, okay? So Top Gooner X, you guys, here it is. Okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. What it is it's a trend indicator, okay? So it tells us about trends, right? Trend starts down here, ends up here. Rinse, repeat, okay? What you can see here is more of a bottoming pattern here, okay? And if I just zoom out, trend is pretty much as maxed down as it can go. It can just stay flatlined here, but when it starts picking up, that's when I start looking at potential longs, okay? And you can see that it should have flatlined at 1. Okay, so 1 is the max value. Once it picks up from 1, you can actually set an alert there. So I could click this at like 98, okay? Could go to like 98 and set an alert, and it'll actually alert me when it picks up there, so I can look for longs, okay? So I'm not catching the bottom here. You can see it doesn't pick up till probably like December 26th-ish, right? So I'm not catching the bottom, but I'm still catching decently, okay? So this is when I can start looking for longs and maybe taking some small positions when it's down here, but I really need to wait for Top Gooner X to work. I really need to wait for more confirmation. All right, and Top Gooner X is built off confirmation and playing it safe and waiting for confirmation. So I'm not just taking blind longs here. Sure, this drop down here, so I know we're going to bounce at some point likely, and trend's going to go up, but I'm not just knife catching down here when it's under there. And sometimes it'll start to pick up a little momentum, and it'll hit off here, and it'll drop back down, okay? So to really wait for this to work, and what I really want to see is this strong buy zone, this strong buy approaching, right? That's the signal. Okay, so one of the best signals we can see. It works on all time frames. I use it on the 1 minute chart all the time. On the 1 minute chart, you gotta kind of learn. You gotta watch it a few times and learn and kind of back test it and look back and see how it worked and how it didn't. Because sometimes there's times where you can tell when it's not gonna work, and it's usually when I don't have this momentum upward. Okay, so you'll get a strong buy approaching, and it won't never get momentum up here, and it'll drop again. It'll kind of fake you out. So just be aware of that, especially on low time frames. Okay. But what I can do with Top Gooner X is I can say, okay, I got a strong buy approaching here, right? And usually, more times than not, it's on the way up, okay? So if we look at the Litecoin weekly chart here, we got one on the Litecoin weekly chart. Excuse me. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, strong buy approaching here at the top, right? We pulled back, okay? That's what I expect on a strong buy approaching from the top, and then I expect a pullback, okay? So let me go back to Bitcoin. Okay. And I use it mostly on Bitcoin. You want to find high volume coins, okay? So the lower the time frame, the more volume you need. So I'm not going to go scalp a ZRX chart on the 1 minute based off Top Gooner X because there's just not enough volume, okay? I need a little bit more volume for it to pick up false signals and for it to pick up the momentum, okay? If you are doing a low volume coin like ZRX, it'll work, but you want to move up to a higher time frame. So maybe like the 6 hour or the 12 hour or the daily. Okay. So anyway, so I go back to top Gooner, I get the strong buy approaching. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here. And you see that I actually get the signal at the bottom of this bounce, okay? So I get at the bottom of this here. So it's kind of a tough one. If I got it right here at the top of this big signal, which is usually where it prints, okay? I would just draw these. I would go down to the 0.786, okay? Make sure you have your tip sheet. It tells you to go to the 0.786. That's where you want to buy, okay? That's your strong buy. If it breaks down through there, then you got the 1.337 as your lottery buy, where you're basically saying, if I buy here, I can put a super tight stop, and if it breaks down, I close right away. If it breaks up, great. That's usually the bottom, okay? So I don't really have anything to go off of here except on this one, since it wasn't in the uptrend mode, it was on the downtrend. So I could buy here at support, okay? Or I could just wait for momentum to break up. So either way, so let's say I don't buy here, okay, and I wait for momentum to break up, I'm missing out on a 5% move, okay? Not the end of the world, right? 5% on this big of a move doesn't really matter to me, okay? So if I don't add here, maybe I just add right somewhere in here. And why would I add in here? Because you see that we met our first criteria, our second criteria, really. So first criteria, strong buy approaching, okay? Second criteria, momentum break out of the zone, okay? Break out of the zone here on about February 22nd. We expect a pullback when we break out, okay? So February 22nd, we get a nice little pop here, and then we pull back, all right? Here's our pullback with bullish divergence now. So price is going up, or sorry, momentum's going up. Price is going down. We have some bullish divergence. Beautiful. Pretty clear invalidation level here too, okay? So if we close below this wick, it's definitely going to tell me that we're going to drop lower. Instead, we get a relatively low volume drop here comparatively to this volume, and bullish engulfing the next day on strong volume. So that tells me we're definitely going up there, more than likely, okay? So if I added here, perfect. Okay, so that's my first add zone. Strong buy approaching, bullish divergence. You would normally add at the 0.786, okay? I'm betting that this actually could be the 0.786, which it happens to be. See that? So went up 0.786. Okay, little wonky of a signal here since it was given at the bottom. But again, so that would be your strong buy. So the 0.786 gives me a little bit more confirmation though. Okay, and then again, you would just put your stop loss at under the 0.886. Okay, under 36.50. So then we see this nice upward momentum, right? So this is telling me that uptrend strength is good, strong uptrend strength. You notice with price, not much movement. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to be too worried. All right, momentum's pushing up. Price isn't really dropping. All right. What do you see here? Okay, we crossed another zone. What happens when we cross zones? Excuse me. What happens when we cross zones? We usually dip, right? So we cross about here, okay, on March 21st-ish, and we dip. No big deal. What's that mean? Dip, okay, bullish divergence, right? That's great. So we added on bullish divergence here. Okay, so we could add here again. And you could look to short these, but it's a little risky, excuse me. So this is trend continuation. If I'm just playing big high time frames, there's no reason I want to short this. Okay, sure, it could pull back here, but it's risky. We could just go up. And a good example of that is recent price action here. Okay, I was trying to short this like an idiot. Okay, I tried to short this because I thought we would drop like $200. I just wanted to drop to like $7,200. That's it. All right. So knowing that this had nice uptrend momentum and we crossed this zone, I still attempted to short this. All right, but look what happened. We just struggled and then we pushed. Excuse me. So more times than not, we do drop here when we cross zones. You could see we didn't really drop though, we just held. So even though we didn't drop, we still needed to consolidate to break upward, which still usually happens in these zones. There's usually some sort of resistance, okay? And then what you see here too, and then I use OBV for confirmation usually too, and OBV was really strong. I should have never shorted, okay? OBV was rocking up at the time. So that's more confirmation to not short. But then what I see here, just a real quick note, is I have bearish divergence here. So right here is a little hump, okay? Maybe I don't. Yeah, so I had bearish divergence here on this pop, right? Okay, so that was a good short opportunity for that bear div. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, so then I go back to here, what we were talking about. So here's our two ads, right? Bullish divergence out of the first zone after a strong buy, bullish divergence out of the second zone. Okay, now what we see here is the strong upward momentum and finally pays off. Okay, finally pays off. We see a huge pop here. Okay, now we've reached our next zone of resistance here. Okay, we don't need to sell here unless we break down below. If we break down below, we're going to be concerned that momentum stalled. But you see what happens is we break right out, all right? And we break out on about April 11th-ish, okay? And you notice again what happens when we cross? A dip. All right? So another dip. We dipped here. We got some bullish divergence out of the zone. That means we should go up. So again, another really good add opportunity here. A really good opportunity to add. All right. And we have a really nice invalidation point, so we could add somewhere down here. Okay, and we're at EMA support as well. We have a nice invalidation point too of down here because this is the big strong candle. So somewhere around here, if we break down from here, we're going to drop heavy. Okay, so we could put a nice tight stop loss here as well. All right, and from our first entry, okay, we missed this entry because we didn't have confirmation, which is fine. Top Gooner X, we like to buy on confirmation. We like to be safe. We don't need to catch the bottom. Okay. Again, the indicator didn't tell us to buy here, okay? We missed it by 5%, the bottom. If we were buying, well, we missed it by 10% if we were buying when we got the signal, and we missed it by 17% if we were buying when we got confirmation, okay? That's fine. 17% right now on this big of a move, it's not the end of the world, right? Okay, but a lot, like, again, if that indicator is giving false signals here, at every bottom, right? That's not good. So it actually is giving us confirmation, okay? That's what I wanted with Top Gooner X, is I wanted that confirmation. So we go up here, we continue pushing. All right, we get one little bearish divergence signal. I don't get too concerned about one. When I start to see multiples, that's when I start getting worried. And I want you to notice here too, this signal came at the bottom, right? So we came on a dip, it came at the bottom. So it almost is a signal of continuation sometimes. When it's by itself. So we get another one, okay? And again, look, it's at the bottom again. Interesting. Okay, we get another one here on May 31st. What do you notice again? At the bottom, okay? Now, what do you notice? June 2nd. That one occurs at the top here now. Now we start thinking that one's valid. Plus, we had a little cluster of them, okay? So we think this one's valid. Where's my momentum at? My momentum's still up in the upper zone, so I'm not going to get too concerned yet, but I could definitely expect a pullback, okay? I definitely could expect a pullback here because we've got a little cluster here. Momentum's still topped out, though, so remember when it was bottomed out here and flat, that means we're maxed. When it's bottomed out here and topped, it means we're maxed. So we want to wait till it starts to drop, which is about right here, and again, you can set an alert for that, for when it drops to like 98, okay? Or 97, however you want. So if we set it to where it dropped to 98, it would actually not signal us until way over here, which is important. Okay? So we get those. Could I short there? Sure. Could I lock in some profit there? I think that's a good idea. I mean, from the bottom, you're up. From this entry, you are up 127% there. So I don't see any issues with taking some profit. It just depends on how much you want to get. And remember, we laddered in, right? So there's no problem in laddering out. There's nothing wrong with laddering out, just like you ladder in. Okay, and then from our last entries, we would have been up 70%. I mean, that's awesome right there. So then what you see here is actually really nice reaccumulation. Okay, and a big thing I like is that this first candle didn't have a high sell volume really. Okay. This first candle didn't really have high sell volume, and this next one had high sell volume into support. If this one would have had high sell volume here, I would have expected the momentum to continue down. All right, but it just wasn't that high of volume. You can see even all this, yeah, like initially, this volume's dropping, and that just comes with more TA. But anyway, so this is a reaccumulation anyway, like nice ascending little triangle here. Okay, so we push up. All right, TGX barely dropped, but it picked right back up and it flatlined again. Okay. So that could be bearish divergence though. So we're basically double topped here on top Gooner X. So now you really want to start to ladder out. Okay, there's nothing wrong with laddering out here a little bit once we start to get that bearish divergence up here somewhere. So you could start to ladder out up here. Okay. And then we get another pop. You could ladder out here. I mean, this is just all going to depend on what you want to do at the time. Okay. Do we want to close fully? We don't have to. We can. Again, that's totally up to you, preference. But here's the signal from top Gooner X now. Okay. So now we get this dead cat bounce signal, right? Dead cat bounce, strong sell approaching, whatever you want to call it. I like calling it a dead cat bounce because usually bounce. So if we look at this closer, okay, and price is still in this upper zone. If we get this, we usually, I don't know if I've ever seen the signal below this zone, but sometimes you'll get this signal like closer to the zone or like as it's crossing and you're already seeing a momentum drop and you might not get as strong of a bounce, but usually you do. So what I would do is I would draw these. So it's given right here. So technically I could draw these here, and this is actually still within the rules of top Gooner X, okay? So the 1.786 would be my short, but we busted right through that, so I wouldn't short that anyway. So that strong candle, you're not going to short because you're not even seeing any rejection. So then we short the 1.337, but it broke right through too. That's fine because we need 2 candle closes above to invalidate the idea. So we got 1 candle close above. This one tried to pop, and it instantly started selling down. So when I see this start to sell down, and I see it, I might wait for it to break the 1.337, but I see this selling down and I see high volume coming in, I'm going to short this. I'm going to market short somewhere as this is dropping, and I'm going to expect it to hold this 1.337, okay? And if you enter at the 1.337, you can put your stop at the 1.618, but usually you want to put it tight, okay? But we got 1 candle above, fake out, close below, okay? But really, this is how I played it in real time as I drew my fibs here, okay? And it worked out perfectly because the 0.786 is our strong sell zone. So if we would have shorted here, this is where I was looking for shorts. I posted it on Twitter. Okay, this is where I wanted to short, right at the 0.786. We got it. You could short there with a stop loss at the 0.886, or you can put it even tighter and put it right above it. After this sell-off here, honestly, there's no reason not to put it at break even, okay? Then what's going to happen is, so we get the strong sell approaching, okay? And this works opposite for a strong buy, right? I'm going to expect the breakdown to the 0.236 fib, okay? It almost always goes to the 0.382. From the 0.786, it almost always goes to the 0.382, and you can see it went straight there, okay? So already, from here to here, I've got a 13% short on Bitcoin with top Gooner X signal. Okay, if that's a 10x short, which it might have been because this is a really good reward, that's a 130% short, right? Just off this signal, okay? Now, I want to see the 0.236 breakdown, and that's when I know the trend's usually going to go really hard and really fast. So it breaks down, it retests, barely held above, and then it just drops hard, okay? So I held my short open. Now I'm up 30%, 300% if it's a 10x, what have you. All right. So one thing we do notice though is we did cross here, so momentum is now weakening. So we get this signal, momentum's weak. If momentum hangs up here, we have a chance to be saved, and it'll be really strong. If we save after an X, it's usually a very strong trend. Okay. If we break the 1.337, it just rockets. All right, which 1.337 up here would have been 15K, which makes sense because 15K would have been a really good short target if we would have gone up there. But if we broke 15K, we would have just taken off. All right. Anyway, back to where we're at. So we get this signal. Okay. We get that signal. We short here. Now I want to see price cross below this zone, just like it crossed above this zone, right? So this is like our confirmation. So we break below here. What happens when we break below a zone? Okay, we usually go the opposite direction. So we break above a zone, we drop. So we break below a zone, we bounce. Okay. So we break below the zone. We expect to bounce. Get a nice strong bounce. Let me drag these over, get them out of the way. Excuse me. Okay. So we get a nice strong bounce, but what do you notice? Bearish divergence. So momentum's dropping. price is climbing. And we hit right at the golden pocket. Okay. Do I want to add there? I could. Okay. I might not, depending on where my stop loss was. Maybe my stop loss was here and I got stopped out on the way back up. Okay. Because you can see here we got rejected by the 0.236. Remember, the 0.236 is an important line. But we broke above it here. And we got rejected and we actually dropped again. Okay. Broke above it here. And we held above it, and that's why we pushed. All right. But so usually what you'll see here is a drop to the 0.382, and then a retest of the golden pocket, and then a drop. Doesn't always happen. I think it's some weird Elliott wave stuff. One of my buddies that does Elliott wave was telling me about that. So usually you'll go like this. You'll go from 0.786 to the 0.382. Okay. Then you'll go from the 0.382 up to the golden pocket. Then you'll go to the 0.236. Then you'll go to the 0.382. It's kind of like a bounce. So this is maybe like a 5 waves. I don't know. I don't know much about the wave. And then you usually break through the 0.236, and that's your strong wave. Okay. So that would be like a long wave 5, I guess. I don't know. Again, I don't do Elliott wave. Or you go to the 0.236. Okay. 0.382 again. So we always go to the 0.382 pretty much every time. Okay, then you would go to the 0.5, and then you just hit this and break down, and this would be like your wave 3. Okay, and then you'll hit back up on the 0.236 to retest it. Okay, and then when you retest the 0.236, that's when you really drop, which is kind of what we're seeing here, right? So I don't know Elliott wave, but that's kind of how that works out to be. And that's what you'll see a lot. Okay, so if you use Elliott wave with this, you're golden, but I don't know Elliott wave. So I do know trend continuation and divergences. So we drop here, okay? So I could have added here to dollar cost average, okay? But our momentum wasn't down. So remember earlier, I really need to wait for that confirmation to add. So I've got a breakdown now and a bounce. So now I want to look to add on bearish divergence. Okay, we broke through the 0.236, so I can't short yet. We broke through the 0.382, so I can't short yet. Now we're getting rejected by the 0.5, right? Now I can look to short. Okay, shorting. I actually got rejected at the golden pocket, which is perfect. That's where I would love to short. The golden pocket's always great. Okay, and we got that bearish divergence. Okay. I would actually, for me personally, I probably would wait and I would short after this hanging man, probably right here, somewhere in here. Okay, that's just me personally. Really the best spot to add, so we added here. Okay, really the best spot to add is on a retest of the 0.236, because after a retest of the 0.236 with momentum dropping, it's very likely we're going to drop. And you can see here, we got a really nice strong rejection. We got rejection here. Okay, that really tells me we're going to drop soon. And look at our momentum. Momentum's just going down, right? And we even have more bearish divergence here. So we have price going up, momentum going down hard. Okay? Again, what happens here, okay? We usually expect a bounce, right? Okay, so we're dropping through a zone. This tells me we're going to continuation. Okay, I'm going to drag this way over now. Okay, so this tells me continuation. All right, what do I see here? A bounce in the opposite direction. All right. Now I can add again. Because this is our initial pivot point, right? Nice resistance retest. Everyone was bullish here anyway. But on top Gooner, all right, we had nice bearish divergence. Okay. Whereas price is still down. Now, if this would have broken back up, if top Gooner, and you guys feel free to ask questions in the chat. If top Gooner would have broken above here, I would have held off on shorts, maybe looked to close on the dip. But you can see we're still in the downtrend and we still continue down. So we could add it there, could add it there, could add it there. All right. And now you see a bottom pattern forming. And we rejected off this zone and came back in. So we peaked in the zone and we rejected right back out. That tells me that we could be building a bottoming pattern now because momentum won't drop into that zone. Now, is it a full trend reset? No. This is a full trend reset. When we go down below, full trend reset. Up above, we can have a full trend reset. In these between areas, it's more ranging. So you can see here, range, 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 ranging. Like we're just ranging now on this time frame. Okay, we're not getting any true. We're still technically in this downtrend. Okay, because we haven't gotten a true uptrend reset yet. We haven't got uptrended. We haven't dropped in this zone again to really reset for a full retrend. So I still expect it to happen. It doesn't have to. Okay, but I still expect us to get. Usually it goes from one signal to the other, like you can see here. And it's better on Bitstamp because you have more chart history. But you can see here we got the signal. We kind of ranged a little bit. Even here, like we almost went to the bottom, but then we ranged and we reset, and now we reset. So now I'm waiting for another strong buy signal, okay? Which I think we could get if we kind of see some accumulation, like bleed out like this, like we had back then. All right. So back on that though. So then we could say, all right, I should probably start closing my shorts down here, right? And if you close from the top and we're patient, there's another, if that's a 10x, that's 500%. Okay, if it's just a 1x leverage short, that's 50%. If it's a 2x, it's 100%, blah, blah, blah. From our best entry, and then from our re-entries, it's approximately 34, 340%, whatever you want, somewhere down here. Okay, and again, you can start laddering out. And then what you see is some divergent signals, okay? Get some little divergent signals here. But price just couldn't break down through this, and we get bullish divergence down here. So momentum going up, price going down. All right, that's our bullish divergence, and we take off. Okay, and if we're just following this trend again, so if you waited for bullish divergence to buy, it'd be great. If you waited until confirmation here, okay, so you wait for uptrend confirmation here, okay, we get momentum bullish divergence here, right? And I bet you this is the 0.786 fib again. All right, 0.786 fib held. Okay, right there. Boom, perfect hold. I just realized that I didn't really look for those pullbacks when crossing these zones, but that's something interesting I need to look into. Maybe that's the 0.786 fib as well. But again, so you could have added, you didn't have to add at the bottom here. You could have added just here and gotten late in the trend, and you'd still be doing pretty well. You could see here what happens is we don't cross out. We actually hit resistance. We get a lot of bearish divergence signals here. Nice, strong cluster. That makes me concerned. Okay, momentum dropping, and if you didn't get in yet, okay, if you weren't in yet, and actually remember trading this. This is a rising wedge, okay? Right, that's a rising wedge. Picture perfect, okay? With the momentum dropping, so you've got price going up, momentum going down, down in this zone. I don't know why I let me click on that. Down in this zone, right? So, looks pretty good. And then look how hard we dropped, okay? And full trend reset. We get our bounce here. Okay, so when we cross, we got our bounce here. And we don't have any bearish divergence yet, right? Now we finally are getting bearish divergence way up here. And we could still go a little bit higher. We could hit this resistance. But we pretty much have bearish divergence here. From here, right? Not on the close, but we definitely had it there. So we could still push a little bit and actually get some true bearish divergence on a close, and I think we would drop pretty hard. Unless Top Gooner X would need to reclaim like 10.3K to that would make sense for us to rock it. But Top Gooner X would need to reclaim up here to really show some uptrend momentum again. All right. So we're just ranging right now. Kind of just going back and forth in this range. You can see here it's a big range, but we're still just ranging. We're not getting any of these real trends like this. Like this was a real uptrend. This was a real downtrend. So, you guys have any questions right now? I got to get going to my other meeting. So this is still 30 minutes, which is good. I wanted to get 45, but I can make it out next time. Otherwise, I use it on lower time frames, okay? If I just look here, you can see that we're getting this clusters. We're getting this cluster here, but it's not above this in this zone up top, so I'm not too concerned yet. I want these clusters to be in the upper zone, okay? And I want this bullish divergence signal to be in the lower zone. So when they're in these other zones, you can take them for a little bit, granted, but I don't really look much into them unless this yellow is down here like this. See how those yellows are all down here? When this is getting close to the lower zone, that's when I can start to look at it. But this isn't in the upper zone yet at all. Like I really like to see it up here. That's when I really start to take these into account. So I had 2 here. I'm getting a huge cluster here though. Okay, and then we get this dead cat bounce, but we broke up through our fib. Okay, get another dead cat bounce here, and that's when we really dropped. All right, now and take note, because remember I said if you get a dead cat bounce and momentum doesn't drop, you have a second chance. Okay, but now we have bearish divergence here from 1 to 2. Yeah, of course, Tron. Thanks for coming. Sorry about the timing on that. Sorry you couldn't make it for the whole thing, but it'll be ready. As soon as I exit out, it'll take like a minute for me to get it processed, and then I can send it to you guys, okay? But again, so here's the dead cat bounce signal. And it was given here as momentum was starting to drop. So we didn't really get a bounce on that one. And sometimes the second one is a little weird because you don't always get that bounce. Let me go to like the 1 minute. See if I can find a signal. So like here's a 1 minute, okay? And of course these signals are gonna be quicker, right? But here's how you can use it on a 1 minute. So I get a strong buy approaching here. Okay, so I wait for the dip. So I'm gonna draw my fibs from here to here. Okay, I'm gonna buy the 0.786. This just happens to be a very damn clean signal. Okay, so get this strong buy approaching. All right, I'm not catching the bottom, you guys. I'm catching pretty damn close though. Catching 0.2% ish from the bottom. That's awesome. Okay, 0.2% on a 10x leverage is only 2%. So I get the strong buy approaching. What do you see here? Bam, momentum up. Okay, where's the signal at? From the signal, momentum down. And notice how the signal is given at the top, right? Signal's given at the top. Okay, this is telling me that momentum strength is coming back to the bulls. So now I wait for the dip. I'm patient. I draw my fibs. I buy the 0.786. Okay, I can put a stop loss at the 0.886, or I can put it just right below that. All right. Remember, I'm going to target the 0.382 first, always. Okay. So I'm buying from here. That's a 0.43% scalp. So on a 10x, that's 4.3%. Okay, you can start laddering out. You can hold 0.236. Remember, that's my next target, which usually reaches 0.382. Almost always reaches 0.236. Usually reaches. But what do you notice here is we closed above it. See that? And my volume is gone for whatever reason. It's probably because I'm an auto. But I'm betting you that was high volume too, which is a good confirmation sign. Okay. So 0.23 after the 0.236, we usually see nice momentum. All right, and also what we notice here is if we follow this through like the 1 day chart, okay, we bounce here, we get through here. What do you notice? Dip, bullish divergence. We continue. Okay, now what do you notice? Price didn't break out of this zone and actually broke back below. Okay, so I would start laddering on these, depending on the leverage. I would get out sooner than later. But look, if you go to the 0.236 on a 10x, that's a 6% scalp. If you rode this, you got a 10% scalp out of it, depending. Okay, you get a 14% scalp if it's a 10x. All right. If you were waiting for hard confirmation, which you don't always get at a high level, sometimes you get the hard confirmation a little bit lower. Here's our hard confirmation though. See this bearish divergence? Okay, and we get these divergence signals too. Hey, knock it off. No. So we're dropping now. Momentum's dropping. We're down below the zone. We're in downtrend now, and look how we drop again. Okay. So just interesting. But that would have been a really good scalp up here. You could have shorted this divergence if you wanted to, right? For a scalp anyway. Another 6, that's 0.6% on a 10x, that's 6%. So anyway, that's how it works. That's full uptrend on TGX with rejection. We drop back down, and now we range until we find. And notice this too. So this is kind of how you can decide if Top Gooner X is ranging or not. It's kind of floating in between zones, so this is going to be a pain in the ass to trade. Okay, we're still technically in downtrend, right? Because we broke back below this blue zone. So we're just ranging. Now we get to this yellow zone. Now we can start looking for longs again, and look how we push up until we start trend. Like, just look how it follows the trend when we're actually trending. Now we're ranging a little bit. We hit this high, drop back down. Okay. So play around with it. Let me know if you guys have questions. I got to get going. Do another webinar in a couple weeks. I'm going to make another Top Gun X tutorial, just like a basic tutorial, kind of just based off the tip sheet. It'll kind of be like this. It'll just be like really simple, like straightforward, like A happens, B happens, C happens. But just remember that like this is your momentum, you guys. Okay, and it doesn't really lie. Usually what happens is I ignore what it's saying, and then again, this is a 1 minute chart, so everything's gonna be just a little more reactive. Sometimes I ignore what it's saying more so than anything, and that screws me. Okay. But usually just watch the momentum. Like on the 2 hour, I'll show you this real quick. Remove all drawing tools. So I actually had orders set here because of this, and I canceled them because it was a weekend. Anyway, see this dead cat bounce signal? Okay, so I draw it from the top to the bottom. Where's my strong short? 0.786, right? We didn't quite reach that, which is fine. I usually don't set my orders right at it anyway. We reached close to it though. That was a strong short. And look, if I would have kept my orders there, and they were 25x orders, I could have closed at 25x times 7. I don't know what that is, but 200%. Almost 200%. I'm so mad I closed those. But anyway, so that was a strong short. Look, we rejected off the 0.236, right? We held it actually. Whoops. We held the 0.236, and now we're bouncing back up. Notice our momentum. Okay? We're crossing lower. So here's what's going to be awesome is actually we're starting to build already. Bearish divergence. Okay, we just barely have it. Nothing significant yet. So maybe we'll bounce to the 0.786. Maybe we'll bounce to the golden pocket. I think we saw this earlier where we bounced to the golden pocket from the 0.236. And then we dropped hard. So let's wait for the 2H momentum to start to break through here, and then we're going to look for some nice shorts on bearish divergence out of the zone, right? Okay, that's how I'm looking at it right now. So I'm expecting maybe a little bit more pop. Am I going to trade the long? Not on the 2 hour time frame, because right now our momentum's staying a little down. Okay, and we can look at OBV and see what we're showing here. OBV's looking a little strong, right? So we might get a little pop here. Maybe we'll get some divergence somewhere, though. So we'll keep an eye on that. I got to get going, though, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Keep practicing. Like I said, it's going to take a month. It's going to take a month for you to really start to get used to it and start to trust it, if not 2 months. So it took me quite a while, but I also had to I had to figure it out. Like, it took me a long time to actually figure out how it worked, because I built it, and my partner Satoshi, he coded it for me, but it's so complex that it was like, it was just making signals and doing things that I didn't even, like, it was doing what I wanted it to do, basically, but I didn't expect it to be able to do all these complex signals and all this, and just for it to be so complex. So, yeah. So I'm pretty excited, though, to be able to share with you guys. So, all right, you guys, feel free to message me in Telegram support for questions, but otherwise I'm out. Have a great night. I'll send this link to all of you here in a few minutes, okay?